back to MG Midget, birth of a race car, capturing my journey to the 2022 MG Owners Club Speed Series. So we're now continuing with the restoration, so next step is to put the rear suspension back on. Put the first rear spring on. There's just probably less enough weight that I can do that before dropping it down and then having to start working on it when it's on the floor. For reference, this is a lowered rear spring, 2 inches lower than normal, and if I need to soften it I can actually take this lower leaf off. So I'm going to try it with the leaf on first, and if it sits too high or the handling is too hard at the back, I'll be taking that lower leaf off. As you can see from all my floor mountings up, the bolts go in nicely, and that's located itself. Remember to use the washers in between there, and we've got poly bushes on the back to hopefully give it a nice good firm ride. So I'm going to put the other spring on, and then we can drop it down and we'll be in a position then to put the axle on when that's ready. Ready to mount up the back axle, so I've got new U-bolts, nuts, got the shims as well, painted up and reclaimed 2 of the brackets here. I'm using poly bushes onto the springs. Got to have a new bush there, and then painted up the lower shock absorber mount as well. So I'm going to mount up the axle, get these either side, put the U-bolts in, and then get that into a position where the axle can be clamped in place. All installed, then there's no specific torque given for the U-bolts, so I've just tightened up so they clamp the poly bush in a good, nice tight way, and there's a few millimeters of thread beyond the nylock nut, so I know that's not going to come undone. It seems nice and secure. I've attached the tie rod, well, the belt strap on, so that's secure. So I'm going to do the same on the other side, and then the last piece of the axle fitment is going to be the shock absorber. So pressing on with the rear suspension, I've put the handbrake back together again now. Nothing really to note here. The cable was fairly new, so made sure that that's fully greased as that's gone in, and put new brake pipes across the top to make sure that the brake system is in as best a condition it can possibly be. So last part of getting the axle together is going to be connecting the prop shaft when the gearbox goes in, and finally assembling the brakes and putting the drums on. For the final part of the rear suspension, I'm going to put some new levers on. Doing the research, there seems to be a split whether to go for the telescopic route or refurbished Armstrong dampers, so I've gone for uprated dampers to match the lowered rear springs on the sprint car. I've got the option then to replace this cap with an adjustable cap. Expensive, but that will give me the facility to adjust the spring rate in future. So I'm going to try it, set the car up, and depending on the oversteer and understeer, I can always improve and modify it from that. So fairly easy fix here, 2 bolts, and then just putting the tie rod on, and that will complete the rear suspension. And with the rear shock mounted up to the axle, then I'm ready to move on to the front suspension now.